Hey, welcome. So you guys are catching me after I exercised. I exercised because it was so nice in the morning. And so I wanted to make this YouTube video, but I usually do them at a certain time. And then I was like exercising, and then I'm like, okay, I just got to get this done for the day. So here we are. Last time, if you were a fan of this podcast or what we do, what I do on Grow My Etsy Shop, I mentioned that I was going to do an episode on some add-ons and stuff like that. But I thought we could be in Etsy to sort of talk about some strategies that we can do to help us grow. So the first thing I want to point out is, so I just went, let's just do popular now. Let's do vow books. If we look at this together, this is something that I want every Etsy shop owner to do. And it is important because you're fighting against I shouldn't say fighting. You're trying to win, better way to say it, two different people. You're trying to win on Etsy and then win the customer. And Etsy's done a good job at bleeding those together, which means if people like and buy and review your things, then it tends to be promoted. And so always go for the customer first instead of trying to win for Etsy. In fact, a lot of the problems that Etsy shops run into is that they perseverate on how do I win on Etsy, when the truth is like win a customer and the rest will follow. Okay. But sometimes, especially this is common, where shops will do really well with a specific product, and then that product starts to kind of die off, and then they're kind of like, oh, I don't really know what to do from here. Success was kind of easy for me when I had a really great product. Now that product sort of died off, I don't know how to tell Etsy that I have something else that could be really great. So this is a great exercise for you. Number one, these are just fast ways to win on Etsy. Okay. Number one, if you can fulfill faster than your competitors, you will be moved up on the algorithm. Point blank. So you'll see right here, right at the top, Etsy knows what people want. Fast shipping is something they like. So if you have competitors that all, they're custom and they take 2 weeks to get out, and you go, well, I could do it in 7 days, especially if your sale volume's a little less, you probably have a little bit more time. Attack that first. You can always move it back up as you start to get customer reviews and likes and favorites and purchases and all that stuff. Then you can be like, okay, Etsy knows that this is the real deal and I can move back up. That's completely normal. But if you are feeling a little stuck, this is a quick fix. Just do it faster. Alex Hormozi, he's a big internet guy. He talks about this principle all the time. He says that in today's era, speed has a lot to do with the consumer's decision. So, okay, next thing I want you to do, I want you to log on to Etsy. I want you to, let's just say you sell vow books, and I want you to just look at the color scheme, because Etsy knows what colors do the best. And Etsy, it's important to Etsy that they are on trend. So they don't want people to say, I'm looking for a vow book, and then they're brought up a bunch of crap that's really out of style, and they're like, oh, this is terrible. And then they leave. They know that. So what they do instead is they say, let's present the colors based on the data that we're receiving first. So the things that are on trend. So let's look. What do we see right at the top? Now, these are ads, so I don't know if you want to dip into those yet, but right off the top, do you see anything that you notice? Color schemes, patterns. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities here. Now, this has 1 to 2 reasons. One is people tend to copy what's selling best, but 2 is Etsy tends to promote what's selling best. Now, Etsy likes to diversify things. And so if you have different sizes of things, so for example, if you're like, okay, this obviously seems to be doing well, this like pattern book. Let's see if we see other things like it. Here's another one that's like it. Are we seeing the color schemes here? Very earth tone, what we're seeing, very earth tone. So what you want to do is you want to say, A, can I offer colors that are more on trend? That's a great way to do a quick fix. 2 is to say, how can I not copy that, but how can I add value or be better than that? So a good example of this is you might say, okay, this picture has 2 up there. What if I took those 2 colors and let's go these 2 colors and put them in a picture together? Now what happens is someone sees these 2 and then they see one with 4 next to it and they go, oh, I like all those colors. Let me shop into that shop. You've added value. What if these all look kind of like they're the same size? What if we made one that was bigger? Now, this does this does two things. One is that you would stand out because you would be different than what we would be seeing up here. And two, Etsy likes to diversify the front page. So in a perfect world from Etsy, there would be so many great shops that offer varieties of really trendy things that they can just post up here. Now, if we go more inspirational, so let's just go like wedding, for example, you're going to see all sorts of different products because Etsy knows that I'm shopping for inspirational. And so they're purposely going through and looking at this and, all right, where do they want a candle? Do they want a mirror? Do they want a ring? Do they want what? Tell me what you want, Jared, is essentially what they're saying. Different price points. Like we even got a POD pig shirt in here. Like there's all sorts of stuff. But let's go through our exercise. What are the color schemes that we're seeing? So again, we're seeing this kind of off-white, cream, beige color schemes of what we're doing. So if you're in the wedding niche, just know Etsy tends to be favoring something like this. Now let's just look at diversity, how diverse it is. We got a Christmas ornament. We got a cufflink, a pet cufflink, a t-shirt, a custom art, vow books, a big old banner, stamps. You following me here? Rings, cards, a candle, cake cutter, a telephone. Etsy is diversifying that front page to say, what is it that you want? 5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, probably, Etsy used to just say, well, whatever's selling best in the niche, we're going to put on the front page. So you would type in wedding and there'd be 900, let's just say, where we met maps. And you know, those custom maps that have the location on there. And you'd see like 6 of those on there. And then other people would be like, oh my gosh, I can make that. And then they'd make that. And then everyone would be fighting. And then Etsy realized everyone's just copying each other to be on the front page. So they said, diversify. We want to put more products up here. So in these inspirational keywords, diversify. This means you don't want to come in here and say, oh, that telephone, I can make that telephone. Because are you going to replace that person? Probably not. But if we go more detailed keywords. So for example, custom matchbox, you're going to see that you can't diversify that front page because you've told Etsy what it is that you want. So it can't be like, well, here's a kitty cat. You're like, well, I don't remember searching kitty cat. So it's going to show you custom matchboxes. So this is where the battle of how can you be different? How can you stand out? How can you diversify slightly to win that front page? And how can we make sure, though, that we're not losing the trend battle? So I'm going to put Teletubby colors up. Might not work, but I'm going to look at the front page. Again, this is what everyone should be doing. Looking at the front page and deciding what is the color scheme of this. So funny enough, this one is a little bit different. It almost has some really bold, bright colors to it. I see more of those, that burgundy red that's really rich. Rich is the word. This yellow that's rich. But yeah, I see a lot of this kind of more brownish, reddish, burgundy, almost like a smoky, classy chess bar, you know, vibe to it. A bar, what do they call those? Bar cart type feel. So you then look at your matches, and if you're like, oh, mine are like really kitty looking, you're going to see that, no, they kind of like this vintage look at the time. And so maybe try that. But again, don't copy. Just bring yourself into where Etsy's, this is how you win, you know, you're trying to win Etsy's heart. Hey, Etsy, I know the colors that you seem to like. I got some stuff, but it's got my style that makes me different, that it's going to help you diversify your search. That's what you want to add and place in here. Okay, so now let's talk add-ons. Ta-da! Let's go to, we're in custom match. So let's click this. So for those who don't know, Etsy has recently added that you can add add-ons to this so that you can select things. And then with that, it can upcharge. In fact, let's find one. Perfect. So printing options, single-sided or double-sided. Now you can even, so this is just for customization of the product. So do you want 1 or 2? I got my little honey tip in here. It's telling me that they've lowered their prices. Worth noting if you're getting into custom matches. And it's an Etsy pick. It's on sale right now. probably trying to get some sales here. So what you can do is, and this is such a healthy exercise, is that you say, yesterday, last podcast, we talked about my friend who makes custom cake toppers. And the thing I say to her is, if someone's coming to buy a custom cake topper from you, we know 3 things about them. A, we know their name, because they're going to type in Jake or James, whatever they're going to put in the name of that. You know their name. You know that they are having a birthday or celebrating a birthday, and you know that they are having a cake. Those are the 3 things that you know about them when they buy something from you. So you have to then take those 3 things and say, how can I help Jake in any way with the birthday that they have and the cake that they're doing? So can I provide, this is I call it blue zone thinking. Blue zone thinking is when we think without consequences. So we're just like, Elon Musk is a big believer of this, which is, he's like, tell me how to solve the problem, how you would solve the problem if there was no rules. So you're like, oh, that building's really high, we don't know how to get to the top. He's like, how would you solve it without rules? You'd be like, I'd fly. And then he's like, okay, write on the board, fly. What else would you do? I'd jump really high and fly. I'd have Superman come pick me up. You just write these ludicrous ideas down, but then from there, you then go to the next stage. Okay, well, how can we fly? How can we do that? And you're like, is it impossible, or is there a version of something that we can do? And he solves problems this way. You want to think and do this similar. Don't put boundaries on yourself instead. And lucid dreaming is very, if you guys are into that, this is another great way to do it just within your own personal life. I won't go down that tangent, but lucid dreaming is really great in that scenario, because if you're someone who tends to be a little bit cautious about life, and then you get into a lucid dream, which is like, it's like 6 a.m. and you're not quite awake, but you're also not quite asleep. You start to think about your world's problems. You'll find that your brain will be more creative in solving things, because typically when you stop yourself, like, no, I would never do that. That doesn't make sense to me. That's not safe or whatever. Your brain will allow you to go that direction. It opens you up a little bit. So I want you to do some lucid dreaming here when it comes to your products, when it comes to add-ons. So back to our cake person, 3 cake products. We know their name. We know that they're having a birthday. We know that they're making a cake. So then we say, what can we add on? Well, could we help them make their cake? Could we help them with the birthday party? And a lot of the times with her cake toppers, we know the theme of their birthday party. Or can we help them with something with more customization of their name? And those are the way you want to think. So can I offer a cake recipe? Can I do that kind of stuff? Probably not. Blue zone, Elon Musk style way of thinking. I don't see that one going somewhere. Okay, number 2, if they're buying from us and we know that they're having a circus themed birthday, can we offer them more circus themed stuff, especially if they know they like our designs? Yes. So now we're on to something. So can we, when they go to check out, have an add-on that says, hey, do you want to add a banner? Do you want to add some goodie bag, custom goodie bags? Do you want to add? Yes. So what you're doing is you're taking an order that used to be $13 for the cake topper, and now you've made it $30 for the treat bag and the cake topper, for example. And what that does is it increases your average order value without you having to increase your traffic. And so you're taking the ones that Etsy's already promoting, already knows, you're analyzing that customer and creating an add-on for that customer experience. Because most of you know this, if you have 100 listings in your shop, you're not going to sell all 100 listings. There's going to be a handful of listings that are being sold from your shop. So those are the ones that are bringing in traffic. So why not, while someone's there, and this is this is important to know just in sales in general, is that you're always supposed to offer someone an opportunity to say no. So if someone says, I want to buy a cake topper, you go, great. Do you want to buy any of the treat bags that come with it? They're also circus themed. And then go, sure. And you go, great. Do you want to buy a banner that can we? And they go, oh no, thanks. Perfect. That's their no. So you've always offered a yes. You're losing money or leaving money on the table if you don't give them that opportunity. So with her in this scenario, she's saying, Jared, how do I make more money? The answer is, let's take what's coming in and offer more around that, which is birthday themed off the themes you're already making. You're no longer a cake topper store, but a birthday themed store for these products. And we use the traffic that's already coming in from your cake toppers to convert that traffic. Okay, follow me. So what do we know about our match friends? Okay, well, we know that they're buying matches. We know that they want them custom, that they're probably gift oriented, right? And they're probably going to use them for, looks like a birthday in this scenario. And based on the keywords, it's looking like it's bachelorette. I mean, this is not a great SEO thing. But in this scenario, we'll just say it's birthday. So what do we know? We know that it's probably someone over the age of 18 or someone who has a bar card, into cigars, smoking, anything along the lines that they need this match for. We know that it's most likely going to be gifted to someone, and we know that they're going for this kind of classier vintage style. So then you blue zone your ideas. What else can I do for this person to help that experience? So let's just hang out in the birthday one. Can you gift wrap it? Can you make a card that goes with it? Can you help with that? And then suddenly that becomes an add-on. Hey, add on this for $5, it wrapped and carded. And now you've taken what's $33 to, what would that be? $38. You've raised it to $38. I have another, let's do this. Let's just look at this together here. Let's go a wreath. So these become popular in the fall. People come out here and buy all this fun stuff. So let's look at a super AI wreath. Give me a break. Can you imagine trying to buy a wreath and someone has it AI'd? You're like, okay, thanks. Can I see the real one, please? This one's creepy. Let's do this one. So it is a Halloween themed wreath that's on here. Okay, so what do we know? We know Halloween. We know that they care about their front door. Now, what else? This is what's fun about this project is we can say, well, do they keep that up year round on their door? No. Okay. Is it outside and exposed to the elements? Yes. So what can we do? Okay. What if we upsold that we would spray it to keep it seasonally from falling apart? You know, there's a spray that you can put on these things to keep them so that they last forever. What if we upsold that? And we upsold it, and you know, in this scenario, it's $108 for this wreath. If we upsold that spray for $15, it makes perfect sense that you would spend $15 extra on your $100 wreath for it to last longer. Because when you're buying a $100 wreath, you kind of want it to last long. Add $15 in there, and we can get that done for you. Let's just say that the can costs $7, and you can get 30 wreaths out of it. Do the math. You've just added, and this is what's killer. And this is the thing I need you to lock in at. When you think add-ons, especially things like this, you are adding a minimal cost to because the traffic is already coming. They're already coming for the wreath. They already know what they want. And you're adding more value to the product for more profit to you. And this is a win-win for the customer and for yourself. You're trying to make their experience better. Okay. So if you are someone who's really expensive, and now this is my last little piece of advice for you. If you're someone who's really expensive, or you find that your product is really competitive, and so your pricing is there, this is a quick fix that you can do. You can start to segregate it out because of these add-ons. So let's just say that everyone sprays their wreaths. Let's just say that everyone has a weathered bag that you could put it in so that you could store it and it doesn't get dusty and all that kind of stuff. And everyone something else. What you can do is you can say, all right, well, I can lower my price if you don't want the bag and the spray. And then that's what shows up on Etsy. So suddenly this $100 wreath becomes a $78 wreath. And that generates the clicks and people can come in, and then you can say, hey, do you want these things? And they can a la carte the process that they want. I like this technique. I use this technique when I'm a marketer by trade. And if I say my price to someone, hey, this is all that we do, and this is how much it costs, and they go, ooh, can I get a discount? Can we do less? Can I pay more this way? Blah, 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 blah. I always just say to them, look, I can remove some of these things from you, and that will bring down the price, instead of, oh, let me discount my full value to you. So you're essentially doing something similar to that, which is that you're trying to lower that incoming price and then say, hey, based on what you need, let's make a decision on that. If you're selling and things are good, keep your price, go, baby. And a lot of the times, just having it all in there and it all bundled in and it works, go. I'm only saying this is a technique you might want to play with if you find that you're not selling as well as you once did, or competition's chomping on you. Maybe add your stuff as add-ons in that process. So in this scenario, they could select the size, they could select the style, and then you could say, do you want to add the weather bag and spray? That'd be an additional $25, $30 or whatever it is. And so now, where do you sell that? is the next question I usually get. At what point do you promote the add-on? Well, these pictures are for selling. So you want to sell the product here. You want them to love the product. Would I use this listing as my perfect example? No. In fact, let's pull up one that I would. Let me pause. Okay, this one's a little bit better just because it has some of the things I want to add in here. So this, the first 5 pictures or so, there's a couple things you want to do. You want to provide, you want them to love the product. Oh my gosh, I love that. Then you want them to be able to, you want to remove the imagination from the product. So how's this going to look or help me elevate my front door? So the best case scenario for her is to have a porch picture with the product on. I even love a good line right through it without, and then you have the next one with the product on it. So they can see, because that's what they're buying, right? They're buying that experience of elevating their porch. So they see it and they're like, oh my gosh, I love that. That really helps with this. So you're taking away imagination. And then you share the benefits and features of the product. Features are like, it's made of whatever it's made out of. Here's how it's done. It's all handmade. They last a long time. Feature. Ultimate benefit is, what's it going to do to their life? So be more welcoming on the front door, be the house in the neighborhood people stare at, all that kind of stuff is what's going to work in that. Once they're, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I think, let's even watch her video. Since we're here, we can see it. So she's showing this product. The one thing I would add to this is touch. Make sure you guys are touching in your videos. It is if you were selling this to them in real life, what would they do? They would touch the product. They would hold it. So you help satisfy that when you touch their product, okay? You then sell your product. Make sure that you're not just being like, well, here's how you check out. Here's how shipping works. Like, not yet. Let them love your product. Then once they love your product, that's when you then move into more add-ons. So she has, and this is the reason I chose this product, is that she shows the bags. Kind of a weird way to show it. I would obviously show the product in the bag. I think for her, she wants to be able to use this across multiple listings. And so she's done it this way. But you see, she says, hey, this is included with the product. So what was our last wreath? 108. She's 149. And it isn't until 5 that we're seeing this option, and the user doesn't have a choice. They just have to buy the bag, which they might prefer. But what if this was an add-on? Because now what happens is this price comes down. Someone can get to this stage, and then you sell them on why they need the bag. So instead of just saying include storage wreath bag, she could instead say help extend the life to up to 10-year plus with this storage year bag. So you're buying a $149 wreath. Do you want 10 years out of it? Or, a better way to even say that, I actually think that's a great way to say it. If you can promise or guarantee this will last up to 10 years if you store it properly, it's foolish not to buy it. And so, especially if it's $20 and you're already spending this money, what's $20 to an extra 10 years, right? It's $2 a year, I guess you'd be paying, or the cost of a replacement. So, if it only lasts 3 years, I got to pay another $150. Might as well buy the $20. All that justification, it's there and it's added on. She's brought that price down. So this is what I wanted to show you here. This could be an add-on that she could have, and then she can if it was me, I would add the spray for free. So I'd say buy the bag and we spray it for free, and then I'd make the bag whatever my margins are. I don't know what the margins are for this bag, but I'd make it so that it's good enough for me, but makes sense to them. Now I've lowered the price and I've sold this thing to match really well with it. Okay, these are my quick fixes. I think that making sure you're trending, connecting that into Etsy, and then diversifying your inspirational keywords are going to be the 2 biggest things. My main inspirational keyword, how can I be different? And on my detailed keywords, how can I fit in? Color-wise, theme-wise, trendy-wise. Sometimes certain shapes are in style. Sometimes polka dots in style. So, make sure you're not trying to sell something that's outdated. Easy. The next thing is, I'm not getting clicks. Well, then is there a way you can lower your price without actually lowering your price? You're just selling less and then adding add-ons to make it more and increase your average order value this way. Or do I have listings that people are coming into, and I can add products to those listings that then make it more valuable? So if someone's buying my cake topper, do you want to look at? Let's look at one. Okay, here's our friend, a cake topper. She got a little banner. She got a Curious George and a 1. what do we know? They're turning 1. They're doing a Curious George birthday themed. They're having a cake at the party. So what can we sell that would add on here? So right now I'm going to walk out for this. I'm going to select, looks like she's doing it this way. 5 elements. I don't even know what those 5 elements are. Is it that? I don't even know. If you're Letters by Shay, hit me up. We got to fix your listing. I don't know. But what she can do is she can essentially sell this and then from there say, hey, do you want a banner to go with it? A bigger banner? Do you want something printed on a napkin? Do you want goodie bags? Do you want, and she could just add to that so that when we know they're coming to buy a birthday and then they add on. This, one of the best success stories I have with someone I worked with in my mastermind program is they made banners for weddings. And I just said to them, and it was themed, it was very Mexican themed, the banners that they made. So all their travel destination weddings that people are buying into, that's why they were buying them. So I said, like, listen, if someone's buying this from you months in advance from the wedding, it's because they're planning a wedding. Let's help them with that. So everything that they signed up for and were in, pushed them into, hey, we have more stuff that we can sell that fits this theme. So things that go over the bride and groom, over the chair, the wedding invitation, cake, things, the whole thing. And what the guy do, he took his average order value of whatever the banner was worth, and he just tenfold it, because suddenly people were coming in and buying multiple things from him. And now Etsy's made it that much easier through add-ons. If I had this guy from an add-on scenario, I would have said, dude, you're selling, and he was selling 15 of those banners a day. Imagine if you can convert 3 or 4 of them to just buy your whole package from you. You've grown your business without having to do a thing. I mean, you got to fulfill it, but without more traffic or anything. You're just taking the traffic you already have and making more money from it. It's one of the fastest quick fixes you can do to make more money in your Etsy shop. Okay, sorry about my appearance. Like I said, I went exercising. Okay, adios.